Okay. When it gets up there, one sec.
Welcome to another edition of the Polto Show. This is the show to educate you right there in your household, and we got a lot of important topics today. But before I bring and talk about my guest today, let me tell you, because of my guest, she advertises me all over the place with my services. So everyone out there that has a credit problem, everybody out there that has a credit problem, you're going to get it for $500. You heard me because of my guest. And I will introduce my guest. My guest today is a person who made it bigger than life on American Bandstand with Dick Clark. She started on Bandstand at the age of 13, and she was on Teen Magazine, and she was featured in various teen publications, along with Elvis Presley, believe it or not. She was interviewed by Peter Jennings. She now lives in California, but she was born and raised, which I didn't know, in New Jersey. And then she moved to Philadelphia. And besides, after she left the Bandstand, but Bandstand, amazing, to hearing it from Dick Clark and hearing it from the people, they really admired her. She was the top of the field. She was so at top of the field when she moved to California, which she will tell you about. She starred in a lot of movies, and there's certain things that about her. Now I'm going to ask her because she's the one who's going to talk about it. But first, I'd like to welcome Bunny Gibson. Welcome.
Hi. Hi, Pearl.
How are you? How are
I'm
you?
great. Great to see you.
Yeah, here too. You know, I was telling a neighbor of mine, and I'm not sure if you remember. My father idolized you. My father idolized you to the point of Bandstand. And at the point, like I remember, I'm not sure if you remember. I said to you, I'd like to bring you over to meet my father. Do you remember that? We went to Plymouth meeting.
I don't remember that.
I took
I
you.
remember our first meeting
Yeah, well, that's what
right there at Bandstand.
somebody texted me, and that was a question. How did we meet? That was one of the questions asked of me, asked of you. How did we meet?
Well, we met when there was an anniversary show on American Bandstand at the studio at 46 and Market Street. And I remember walking down the hallway to the festivities, and I hear, Bunny Gibson, you were bigger than Elvis. And I looked around, and there you were, Pearl. And we've been friends ever since.
That's over 10 years. Over 10
Oh,
years.
yes, it is.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you know what? We do have a lot in common. We're both Capricorns.
Yes,
We're both
yes.
Capricorns. But when did you decide to start? Because I know you had to be chosen to get on that show.
No, no,
No?
we weren't chosen. Any kid from Philadelphia could get into the show. What you did, there were the two green doors, and girls waited on one side, boys on the other side. It fit about 200 people, and you just marched in until they reached their quota. And it
Really?
didn't matter if you're a good dancer or a bad dancer. It was a mixture of everything.
When did you get recognized on Bandstand? From Dick Clark, from Peter Jennings. When did you get recognized?
I got recognized on the show actually when I started dancing with Eddie Kelly, whose partner Marianne Cuff didn't show up. So he looked up in the stands, and I'm tall and he's tall, and he said, "Hey, you in the red sweater, you want to come down and dance with me?" And I was just like looking around. Oh my God, he means me, you know. So I ran down there in a heartbeat, and we danced together very well, and we continued dancing. So we became a couple, and once we did, he was a regular. Then I then became. I began to get fan mail just like he did.
I remembered you too. I do, you know, out of all the people there, the only one I do remember was two people. You and Kenny Rossi.
Oh, Kenny. Oh, he's a heartthrob.
They're the only two people that I remember from there. Maybe that's why I'm even surprised I was there at the bandstand thing when you said that's where I met you. I
Yeah.
had to be there for a reason. Do you know why I was
hmm
there? Was I there to do a show, or I mean
I
that's
don't know. I, we just all I know is we started talking, became fast friends. I guess we're both of us are earth signs,
yes.
so Capricorns. So
Well, nothing stopped
friends for
you.
life.
How did you get into? How'd you get from Philadelphia from bandstand to be in Hollywood with the movies? How did that happen?
Well, I guess that gave me Hollywood in my blood from dancing there. And I know when I came out here, I went to visit Dick at his Dick Clark Productions. And when I went in, he didn't even say hello to me. He looked at me and said, I knew I'd see you again. So there I was. Being in front of the camera dancing had brought me such joy that I kept on seeking that joy. And I went to New York first and then came out here. And I loved it. Once I saw those palm trees, I said I was only going to stay for 3 months. And I went down Santa Monica Boulevard and saw how beautiful it was. I ended up staying.
What was your first movie that you remember?
My first movie was Two of a Kind, with John Herzfeld was the director, and John Travolta was in it, and Olivia Newton-John.
Wow.
And we've gone full circle to now. In March, I'm going to be in a show called Kidding. It's on Showtime, and it's Jim Carrey's show. And I think out of my whole career, I was so excited to work with him. I not only worked with him, but I spent a day, Pearl, with him saying he loved me and me telling him I loved him. And plus that, we were dancing together. That was a dream. I didn't want to leave the set.
Amazing, amazing. Because you went from. How did the other bandstanders think of you then? Because you were getting the head stage. What did they think of
Um,
it?
I don't know. I always thought of the other bandstanders of like my extended family, my sisters and brothers. So I naturally thought that they would be excited for me. A lot of, I guess most of them did stay in Philadelphia, and a couple people ventured out here. I remember back there in those days, Pat Molitari came out here to start a career, but she decided to go back home. But I'm the one that stayed and still going. And I did get a letter from Dick Clark thanking me for all the work that I've done in behalf of American Bandstand. You know, when we had the 97th anniversary, I was fortunate enough to meet the LA regulars when I did a show, Crook and Chase, that's on YouTube, when it's Bunny Gibson and fashions, 50s to 80s. And when I met the LA regulars, they were like a lot of fun. I said, come on back. Wouldn't this be great? We'll have all four generations, the 50s to the 80s, together. So a group of them, I think it was about 18 of them, I arranged for the airplane, I arranged for a motel for them to have rooms. We had dinners, we had places to dance, and we all now have a memory that will like last forever. It was a beautiful, beautiful time.
I
And
remember.
Dick was quite impressed. He said to me, he said, you can get them to come back to Philly. And I said, yes. And we went up to the American Bandstand, his bandstand grill in King of Prussia. And we also did the Sesame Street parade.
I remember that. I
So
remember his
he was
grill.
pretty amazed.
Yeah, he was. I know he was surprised with you, and I'll tell you what got my attention, and I have to thank you. You don't even remember. You don't even know it. But in one of your articles, you said you had to thank two people for keeping this in Philadelphia. I'm not sure if you remembered, but I do because I cut it out and put it separately. You said you have to thank two people. You have to thank Mike Nice and Pearl Polto to keep the Philly image.
Ah,
Do you remember
ah.
that? Do you remember that? And that was interesting too. But I do remember saying to you, you got to get everybody's autograph. Do you remember me telling you that?
Yes, I do. I remember that. Yes.
I said, you got to get everybody's autograph. I thought, how could she get everybody's autograph? But what you did it a step better. You put it all on Facebook with you and somebody else, even George Clooney. And I thought,
Oh,
oh my God.
yes.
So you were with all the stars, and and you were one of the stars, and you worked your way up. But that's a Capricorn. Nothing stopped you. Do you know that?
Yes. Because it takes a lot of determination out here. You have to, keep on believing on yourself. But I had a dream, Pearl, and I know that every day that I wake up, I'm going for that dream. And I've always said to myself, win, lose, or draw, I've gone for it. You never want to look back and say, like, what if? So I'm out there trying all the time.
And you're going to get it. You're going to get it. What's your next dream, though? What's your next dream?
Oh, I want to work with Jim Carrey again. You know?
Okay, okay. You want to work with him. The only stars that you see, a lot of them are dead and gone, and a lot of them are still there. Do you ever keep in contact with them?
Um, some recently, I had the honor of spending a weekend with Ed Kooky Burns, Kooky, Kooky, lend me your
Yes,
comb. We
yes.
did a celebrity autograph show. I remember how hot that weekend was. And we sat there and people would come and we'd give our autographs. Kooky was giving out his books also. And I just had a wonderful opportunity to get to know him. He was on my right side, and then Tommy Sands was on my left side all weekend. And then across the way were the Mickey Mouse people, and they even had Clarabelle was there. And so I've gotten a chance to meet some really spectacular, wonderful people, and it's I feel very blessed.
Yeah, you are blessed because you're one of them now. I mean, when you did your first film, how did you feel? When you knew there was a camera on you and you went from bandstand to movie star, how did you feel?
Oh God, there was a sense of satisfaction of all the trying that I did it. And I actually did that film. Warren Robertson was my acting coach, as well as about 100,000 other people in New York City. And he was asked to do an actual acting class scene in John Hersfeld's film. And Warren called me up. He said, "You want to come down?" So I went over there to Paramount, and that was my first film, and it was just wonderful. You know?
What did you do after you did your first film? Did you ever go back and look and criticize it or have compliments on it or what to do, right or
I
wrong?
really, Pearl, I don't really like to watch myself too much because I don't want to get into my head, and we can all be so critical, and we'll see flaws that nobody else sees. I'd rather, when I act, just come from inside. So, no, I don't like to watch myself.
That is a Capricorn. I never like to watch myself on a talk show.
Oh,
I don't like to watch myself on a talk show because of that same reason.
mm,
You'll come up with every flaw out there by saying, "What did I do? What did I look like? What did I do? What do I look like?" You know?
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it ruins the experience. I don't want to see myself doing. I just want to be in the moment.
And you're not done yet, are you?
No, oh no, no, no. Had an interview by Zach Galifianakis. He was in The Hangover. I'm doing a show out here, which is Bubbies Know Best. I recently found out that I'm half Jewish, through my 23andMe and my Ancestry.com. I was like floored because I was raised in Catholic schools.
Oh
Went to my
wow,
confirmation, everything like
wow.
that. Anyhow, because now that I am half Jewish, they asked me to be a bubby, which is a Jewish grandmother. And we have three bubbies, SJ and Linda, who's a cantor. And it's a relationship love show where people come and they hope to find love. We pick out some people for them. We tell them which ones we think is best. They go out on the date, and then after the date they come back, and if we are right, they continue, or they have a chance to go with one of the other people. And it's beautiful to be a part of love, because this world, we know, needs more love. you
Yeah,
know
that's and that's the truth. There's so much criticisms on it, and so much criticism when people does. When you walk the streets in California, does people recognize you?
I get recognized still, which is, and when I go with my friends, it doesn't matter how many credits I've had recently. They say, "Oh, Bunny, she went to American Bandstand." Hello, I've done other things.
Isn't that something? They
Yeah,
all
yeah.
remember Bandstand. You know,
Hmm.
I could see when Bandstand why it went off the air. It shouldn't have went off the air. It really shouldn't because it was a kids thing that could have been done now. And maybe I was even thinking that you would have taken the place of Dick Clark because you were so popular on that show. You know.
Except I'd be out on the floor dancing.
That's another thing. That's another thing. And you always, I noticed, like you down to earth now. Even with your, you go to YouTube, you say it like it is as you're eating your popcorn.
Oh,
Right?
yes, yes. And I'm waiting for my almost date to come, who never, I'll be there 6, 7, 8, 9. And by the time he didn't get here and decided not to come, I ate a whole bag of popcorn.
You have a popcorn. Now the question is that many want to know: are you married?
No, no. Mm-mm.
Okay, you said that was a no with a negative approach.
Well, I've had many loves. I've had quite a life. And I'm okay being single right now. If I were, it's funny that I'm in the relationship show and the other bubbies say they want to fix me up. If I should meet that man where we can just, both of us fly together and help each other to be the best we can be and bring light and beauty into each other's lives, I'll be with someone. But that hasn't happened actually for a while. But again, I've had many great loves.
How
Yes,
about you have two daughters?
yes, I have two daughters, Angel, who lives with me out here in California, and Maria, who is back east.
Amazing.
And you met Nikki, my little granddaughter,
Yes.
who's now 26 years old, and I'm like so
Unbelievable.
proud of her. And I have other grandchildren. I even have great grandchildren. So, and the beat goes on.
Everybody thinks that when you're a movie star and when you're in the movies that you make millions of dollars. Is that true?
If you're the A-listers, absolutely. But if you come out here and you want to be a star, that's like the wrong reason. You have to want to do this business because you love the art of the craft and you enjoy the acting because it's really a tough road. I've cleaned a lot of houses. I remember I did very well in New York. That's where I was first, and I had like 5 National Minute Rice spots out, and oh, the money was coming in like crazy from all my commercials. And I thought, well, let me go out to LA and I'm going to do movies. Right? I came out here and I thought I would do it in 3 months. Went out with my girlfriend Shelley, and she looked at me and said, "This is tough." She went back to New York and I stayed. And then, I mean, like I said, I have many jobs. In this one house that I cleaned had 5 bathrooms. And I remember crying, "Oh my God, what did I do to myself?" And at that same time, I had this man who wanted to give me the career and I could go to my auditions in limos, Marty from New York. And I said no. I'm so glad I said no. But I've worked hard to be in the business that I love.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I just spoke with one of my limo drivers. Just contacted me, and I told him you were going to be on the show, and he couldn't wait to see you again.
Uh,
And that was Mitch. And I'm not sure if you remember him.
Hi,
And
Mitch. Yeah.
but he drove me to all the shows in New York. I mean, he had his own
Yeah,
limo side. But it's a thrill and it's an honor. But you have to, as you said, love it. If you don't love it, and if the people are scared because they didn't make their first film, they'll step back and walk away from it. Am I right? But if you love it, you're going to fight harder, which you did.
exactly.
Which you did.
Exactly.
Like, how many films were you in so far that you can remember?
I haven't. Well, I have. If you go into imdb.com, International Movie Database, I have close to 70 credits, and that includes movies and TV. And I've been fortunate enough. I have a dance agent, and I've been like to many. I've danced on TV, so I've continued to do the things that I love.
Yes, and you weren't born Bunny. Am I correct? You were born Rita.
Oh no, no, my mom, her name was Rita, but I never knew her as Rita. I just knew her as Betty. If I knew
Okay.
her as mom, you know.
Okay, so your name wasn't Rita when you were born.
No, no, Kathleen.
Kathleen. Okay, so Kathleen. And how'd you get Bunny?
Well, Pearl, see, my ears, they're large, but my head is large now. But when I was little, my head was little, so I had bigger, my ears looked bigger, and I used to always have this so much energy. My mom said, "Huh, she hops around like a bunny," you know.
You haven't changed. You haven't changed. Then you haven't changed, and everything about you hasn't changed. The people that seen you recently, you haven't changed. I watched a movie. It was called Spy Force. Have you ever heard of it? I'm sure you were.
Yes,
You were in it. You
yes,
were in it, right?
yes,
And
yes.
Homicide and Treasure Island.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember them?
yeah.
Now, the parts
Mm-hmm.
that you did after you did the parts, what did you feel? Did you feel like you were going to stay there, make it, or just keep on going on, or go backwards?
Yeah, I always felt positive about it. I really did. I believe very much in God, and I feel that there's a reason why I'm out here. I mean, and it's just in my life, it's just not about the movies. I've been blessed to be able to work with foster children. And each year, this 18 years, I've been able to give the joy of dancing that I had when I went to American Bandstand back to these kids. And just about a month ago, we had 400 kids come. And, when I have my tables lined up with all these prizes because I have to do this with them because sometimes they don't feel good about themselves and they don't want to get up and dance. The little girl says to me, "Oh, I can't dance. People will make fun of me." I say, "Get up there and dance if you want that prize over there." And they get up and dance, all 400 of them, and then they don't want to stop dancing. And then they go home with all these prizes that I've raised all year for them. And it's just a beautiful thing. So California has brought that into my life also.
I seen it with all the kids to it too, because you cater to a lot of those children. I see that to it. What I'm not confused about, especially you of all people, why did somebody just bring another bandstand into existence?
I don't know. I don't know. Um,
I mean, all you have
I
to
really
do is
don't know.
rent a hall, and bring cameras there, which you have all the cameras, and then start and call it different. Don't call it an American bandstand, but you can call it anybody's bandstand to get the kids dancing again because everybody loved it. And you have it. You're talking about all these kids, and they're afraid to dance. So I was always curious why somebody really never got into it again with all the dancing.
Yeah, I don't know, Pearl. Because like Dick would say, people are fascinated by watching other people dancing. It's a simple thing. And but no one has, he did it out here in LA for quite a while, 7 years in Philly, but no, it's not been reduplicated. And it would be nice because it is uplifting. You feel the joy of who you are and express yourself.
And you're not done. And
Just
you're not
yesterday I
done.
was
I
teaching some.
what's the best celebrity that you have met that you could say, "Oh my God, I met him," or "I met her"? What's the best? Who's the best like superstar that you met that you were in your glory with?
Well, I loved meeting Jane Fonda and Shirley MacLaine, and they both said I was a beautiful woman. I went, whoa. And I get Lana Turner. That was just amazing. I'm sitting there and she's there. Oh my heavens, that's Lana Turner. And she said I was a beautiful woman. And I just think that's terrific for women who are truly beautiful to give that kind of compliment to another woman.
Yes.
That's really amazing. I loved meeting George Clooney. Um, Kirk Douglas, Ted Turner. That was quite interesting. Um, and when you meet them, and it's like they're right there in the moment. They're like just meeting you. They're not. Their eyes aren't all over. They give you 100% focus. I remember that also from John Voight, 100% focus, and it blows you away.
Yes.
Gregory Peck. Oh my heavens,
Oh wow.
Gregory Peck. He's
Yeah.
an icon. Jimmy
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Um, yeah, wow.
Yes. The one on the Golden Girls. This is the one that she's still alive.
Oh,
Am I
Betty
right?
White. Oh, right. How could I miss her? Betty White.
Betty White. Yeah.
I've been at parties with Betty, and she is just, She is just delightful, very bright, very funny. And I said to her, I thanked her. I said, thanks to you, Betty, as an older woman, and for many other older women, we're working thanks to you. And she said, oh, honey, thank you so much.
She's so funny. She is so. I watch that show all the time, and especially for
Yeah.
her in it because she's so funny. She is so
Hmm.
funny. And when I found out she's the only one alive out of all the gold, I was really surprised. I was really surprised. She's the only one that's left, and yet she's still going
Yeah.
on. She's still going on.
She's 98. And do you know when Dick was alive, she would go and they would have lunch once a week. Isn't that something?
She would go on once. She would go once a
Oh,
week.
she would have lunch with Dick Clark once a week, and we would go to his house, and they'd have lunch together.
See, no
That's a
matter
little
how
known
big she
fact.
was, no matter how big she was still down to earth. You know.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yes,
And the same
yes.
with you. The same with you. No matter how big you are, you're still down to earth. Do you know that?
Well, I better be, and if I'm not, pinch me, Pearl,
Oh,
because if
don't
you
worry,
if
I
you
will.
lose
You
that,
know, Capricorns will yell and scream. But no,
right?
you have been for all these years that I've known you. You say it like it is, which I love. You're honest, which you say it like it is. If you don't like something, you'll tell me. When you do like something, you say it, and that's the way you should be. I always say everybody's going to hate me for it, but everybody should be a Capricorn. you know?
Right.
No, because
Now,
you say it like it
now,
is.
I didn't mention Jennifer Lopez. I mean, she was when I did a film with her, The Backup Plan, and I was in the Congo line, and I had to get the line at a certain point so she could do her thing. I was a dancer in that, and she was amazing and totally beautiful. Her skin is like baby skin, and I told her that it's like just really beautiful, you know.
Wow, wow. Now, how do you get your parts though? I mean, do they call you? Do they come to you to say, "How would you like to star in this?"
Well, I have an agent, I have a manager,
Okay.
I have a dance agent and a theatrical agent and a commercial agent. And
Wow.
also, I get up every day, and because of the modern age, we have LA Casting and Actors Access. And I myself can go on the computer and see what jobs are available and submit myself. And if I'm the right type, they like my look, get an audition.
Wow. Wow. So you had to do all this yourself.
Yeah, yeah, you get the agents and your managers, they have to want to handle you. And I'm very fortunate to have some good people around me that really believe in me.
Okay. So you had I mean, you chose your manager and you chose your agent, but you're the one that
Yeah.
had to have you had to have the talent. Am I right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
you submit, they want to see your tape, your reels. Sometimes you'll perform live in front of them. And I recently sent my girlfriend Lillian Mueller, who was the number one playmate of all time for Playboy, and she was looking for an agent. And here I am helping her. So I sent her to my agent, and Lillian told me, she said, oh my gosh, she said, I didn't realize you were such a great actor because my agent spent most of the meeting showing her all the things that I did. And that made me feel good because, just to hear that she feels that way about me from my friend.
Yeah, really. Now, if you wanted to become an agent, could you?
Well, you have to go through. There are rules to become an agent, and they have contracts and things that they have to be a franchise they have to belong to. I could become an agent, and at one time I was managing actors, like what I did with for Lillian. I've done for a lot of my friends. I'm really good at because we're Capricorn, right? Yeah, you're good for this, and I think you should meet that one. I've done that for a lot of people, but I just decided I love my acting so much, I better just concentrate on doing what I need to do for myself. And here and there, I help my friends.
You are making history. You really are. Because, I mean, when somebody goes back to the ages of Bandstand and Dick Clark and all the and I've seen all these superstars with you on my Facebook. I'm so impressed. So impressed with you. It's
You know what
amazing.
impresses me, Pearl?
What?
This, if you can see this book here,
Yeah.
Peter Jennings, The Century. I mean, Peter Jennings, talk about being impressed by someone. They came out to California and interviewed me, and for this book, and I'm in the section of the 50s, and you turn the pages. There's Marilyn Monroe,
Wow.
there's Elvis Presley, there's Martin Luther King, there's John F. Kennedy, and there is Bunny Gibson from American Bandstand.
Wow.
And they use this book in schools across America in social studies, and kids are asked, well, how are times different now than when Bunny Gibson was a teenager? And they call me up and I help them with their book reports.
Wow. Wow.
That
And you're,
that 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 that, that does blow me away, you know.
I hear you from bandstand to the movies to the children. I'm going to ask you, how come you never wrote a book?
Oh, I put together a book, and I tried to do a book with like all the regulars, all the dancers, but it just became too complicated to get everything together and everybody's story together. It just never happened. It just didn't. Um, and writing is hard. It's very hard. I
Well,
mean, I find I've never had such a clean apartment until I started writing. Oh, I better do the kitchen. Oh, I better do the floor. I mean, anything but sit there and write, Bunny.
yeah. Well, sometimes you don't need to sit there and write. Sometimes you only need a tape recorder.
Yeah, that's true. That would have been an easier way to go, Pearl.
I mean, if you had a tape recorder and then you give it to someone like an agent or somebody or a publishing company, and they do the rest.
Yeah, that's true.
Not a bad
That's,
idea because you have the history in back of you where you want the history to remain. You know what I'm saying? After it's all
yeah,
over, you want the history to stay there, and then people to look up to say, "Look what she's done. I remember her. I did that, and
yeah.
now I'm reading about her." You know?
I think through all the interviews and all the newspapers and everything I've done, I probably did write a book, but in little interviews all put together.
Yeah, yeah. The interviews put together with it. It's interesting because I think a lot of people, even from the Philadelphia area, Jersey area, everybody remembers you. Everybody remembers you, and that's why it should always be that way. And I'm sure
Yes,
you see the ones that are not even alive today. I'm sure there's many that aren't even alive today that you know, right?
yes.
I mean, that must hurt too when you see all these people that you knew that you starred with, you know. But
Oh yeah,
go
yeah. It
back to your
is.
first film that you had to go in front of a camera and they said, "Okay, live, go." How did you feel?
Yeah, yeah.
How did you feel at that time when they said go,
Oh, at that
action?
time, I just play that music, and it's like what Elvis would say. I hear music, I gotta move. And so once I heard that music, I was on. You know,
That's
I
good.
just danced. It just came so naturally to me.
So that's it. So again, what you're saying is it's got to be in your personality. It's got to be in a person's background, how far they want to go. Am I right?
Yeah,
They just can't want to go like some of these singers today. They go so far and then they end it, and then they don't go any further. And you see that, and you know they're frustrated. You know, I see they're frustrated, and you want to know why because they don't have that gump to go further. Am I right?
right, right, right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know a few. I know a few that people that I know. I mean, even with my clients, I know is a few. They're afraid to take that next step. You know, but you did it. You took the next step, and so you got to have wisdom to know how to take that next step. Am I right?
you got to have courage. You have to, again, not ever want to have to say to yourself, "What if?" You know, what if if you lose, so you're in the same position, but go for it. That's the things that we go for are usually the things that we remember most and the most fun in our lives. And I'm thinking here, Pearl, now that we're talking, I'm hearing my Philly accent come out
Yeah.
because it's the two of us. $50 an hour to get rid of not saying talk and gas and ask. And here
Water
I am. I'm
and
hearing it
water, you
come
know.
through me.
I hear that a lot too when you come up with certain words from the Philly accent. But then that makes a person. Look at Rocky. That's how he got his accent. That's how he made it.
Yeah.
His Philly accent. The who is the best one that you can name? I know there's not many that you could say because they're all best to you though. But who was the best one that you ever played acting with, actors and actresses that you can remember?
I really would say Jim Carrey. Just
Really, really.
without a question, he was dynamic. He was 100% in the moment with me, and his artistry, his caring. At the end, he gave me a kiss on my cheek. I just loved working with him. Yeah,
Oh,
he was at the top of the heap.
and he's still there. He's still going around with it. He's still
Exactly. I'm hoping they bring my character back.
yeah.
That's what I'm hoping.
They will. They will. It's all up to you then, right? It's all up to you how much they bring back. Am I right?
Well, if they write me, it's my name is Edith in the storyline. If they decide to write Edith in, I'm there with bells on.
Can you actually tell them that you want to play so many more roles, or they have to tell you?
Yeah, the writers need to come up with that. And you actually really can't give them any ideas either because there's so many, people will claim, well, that was my idea and you stole this idea. So you have to be very careful. I just have to hope that when we finished, Jim and I, we actually had a standing ovation from all the cast, all the background people, and some of them had tears in their eyes. Yeah, I'm just hoping that they see the impact we had together and they say, let's bring them back with for another storyline. We'll
I wish.
see.
I wish they do. I really wish they do because a lot of the past is forgotten and it shouldn't be forgotten. And especially Bandstand. Bandstand should never be forgotten. And I really wish, now that I'm saying it, watch somebody bring it back. But somebody should bring it back. Somebody should say, you know what, we got a hit here. We got a lot of kids that want to dance. We got a hit here. And it's really easy. Look what Dick Clark did. And actually, you
Yeah,
did it. You did it too. You did it too. I mean, you brought the dancers on. You did the dancing, and the cameras were there. Same thing. Am I right?
yeah, yeah.
And then I'm surprised that nobody had a movie about Bandstand.
Oh, right, right. Dick tried. I talked to some of his writers and everything. But he sugarcoated everything. He just wanted to have a certain image of how things were. He wasn't willing to do the back of the scenes and the nitty gritty too. It just hasn't happened.
How did you ever meet Mike Nice?
Mike, I actually I believe I met him down there at Bandstand. Oh, before yeah, sometime on Bandstand because he had Dancing on Air,
Yes.
and I remember bringing some of the Bandstand regulars onto his show. It was all in and around 46 and Market Street where the magic happened. That was the first television station in America.
That's that. It's weird because Mike Nice asked me to appear on Dancing on Air, right? And
Oh,
and I didn't. I said no because that wasn't my thing at that time. So he said, "Well, if you don't want to go on Dancing on Air, then I'm going to have you on my show." That was the talk show, and he was the host of the talk show, and the co-host of the talk show, which I'm friends with, is Debbie Gibson's mother, Diane Gibson.
oh,
Do
right.
you know her? Diane Gibson is Debbie Gibson's agent
I
too.
don't know her, but Debbie Gibson, I did an infomercial for Dick for his music with Debbie Gibson and Frankie Avalon.
Okay, and they're still out there, aren't they? Frank Evelyn's still out there,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
It's
A
interesting.
happily married man for many, many years. What does he have? Eight, nine, 10 children, something like that. It's
That's
amazing.
interesting. They don't stop. They don't stop. And Fabian, he's
Right.
still around too. You still meet all the old people from Philadelphia, Fabian and them.
Yeah, yeah, and that's all always like, whoa, if like there I am sitting next to Frankie Avalon for one of the shows, Dick's anniversary shows, and I'm thinking, If I knew this when I was a kid that I could be like this, I would have probably fainted or peed myself. One or the other. Or the fact that Joe Terry and I would become close from Danny and the Juniors. That was so special to me. And he was such a wonderful man, and him I miss. Um, and Fabian, he was fabulous, and Bobby Rydell. I mean, all of them. I actually did a pilot for a game show with Bobby Rydell, and again, I would have never imagined that from dancing on the show back then as a teenager, you know.
Especially,
And
yeah,
Chubby Checker,
Chubby
all of
Checker.
them.
Yeah, he was from Philadelphia. Chubby was from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of them from Philadelphia just left Philadelphia and just went to where you're at, Hollywood,
Yes.
hoping to
Yes.
make
And
it. Some made it, some didn't make it. The ones that
right.
don't make it though, is there a reason why they don't make it? They're not good enough or they're not playing the roles? Is there a reason?
Oh, you do hard work, determination, and there's also luck involved too. So, and so you have to keep at it,
I'm not going to give
and
ages out, but you
survival.
got a birthday coming up too, you know.
Yes, I do.
January 19th. Am I right?
Right. And I think this birthday I'm going to have dyslexia and switch the numbers. Yeah.
That's interesting because
And then,
you're still doing it. I think it's great because you never stopped. You never stopped your work. You never stopped your future. You never stopped doing things. I think I give credit when I watch people like you, and then I talk to some of my clients. Like and they're like they don't want to go on. They don't know what to do next because they don't have it in them. You know what I'm saying? You got to have it in you to keep on going, going, going.
yes, you do.
You
Yes,
and
yes,
if
you
you
do. But
don't,
you need to get up and have a purpose every day. You need to feel like you're making a difference in this world. If not, you might as well pull the covers over and that's it.
yeah.
So, and as you get older, it does get harder to keep on going and going. But I don't know what else there would be. It does give me life. It gives me joy in my heart, and I'm there to the finish.
No, I
Win, lose, or
agree.
draw, I'm
I
there to the
agree.
finish,
Here
Pearl.
too. Here too. With the credit and talk shows, I'm here to the finish. I don't care what it is because I mean that's it's if it's in you, it's in you. You don't stop. You don't say I'm going to
No,
give up. I'm
no.
going to give up because you never give up. And look how far you went with all the movies that you did.
Yeah. People say, some actors I meet, yeah, they say, well, I'm going to give it 5 years. Yeah, how could you say that? I mean, I know if I woke up one day and said I didn't want it anymore, I would stop, but that's never happened. But how do you give a deadline to something that is your passion, is your dream, and it feeds your soul?
Yeah. If somebody came up to you and said they wanted to write a book on you and they would do it, would you?
Yes, absolutely. Hmm.
Okay. See, that's the whole key of people is not giving up. I do believe in that, not giving up. You know, when people says when are you going to stop it, when are you going to stop your business, your service. But I did have to when I read that part in there, the two people you gave a recognition to, and that was Mike Nice and me. I thought, oh my God, because you never said anything, but you wrote it. Do you know?
Yeah, it's important, Pearl. You've been very special in my life. Mike has been very special, and you don't want to forget that. Like I said, if I ever did, pinch me.
And especially with Mike Nice, because I mean, and then we were scared. We didn't know Nice was around anymore,
Right. Yes.
but he
And
is.
then, yeah, I reconnected with him, and we've been talking. And he still has his dreams of what he wants to still do. Maybe you and Mike can get that dancing together.
You know, that's not a bad idea because if anybody that would be a good host would be you and him. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I know he did the dancing on air, but and you did the bandstand, but put it together. I think we're missing something. We're missing something in this country, and we're missing the dancers. We're missing the kids wanting to do things, and they feel they can't. Like, look at the girl that came to you that said, "Oh no, I'm too embarrassed to get up there and dance." You know, and I think we
Yeah.
need that. We need that in today's world with it. If you had to tell anybody out there, what you have to say to them, what would you say?
No matter what, keep on dancing.
Keep on dancing. And if they're tired of dancing,
Expect that miracle.
expect that. That's what. Yeah, that's what I always hear from you. Expect that miracle.
Mhm.
That's one of your words. Matter of fact, that should be the name of your book.
Yeah,
Expect that miracle. Expect
true.
that miracle because you do. You lived a life of it. You did live the life of the miracles with it. I'm going to be talking about credit on the end of this because of you, because you've been praising and praising and praising. I see it all the time on my Facebook and everything else, how you praise the credit portion of me. And
Oh, absolutely, Pearl. Yes.
I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. And that's why I said, you know what, I need to do a special on this air with it, that everybody that knows you, that's watching this show, they're going to get my service for only $500 just because they have to mention your name and they watch the show.
Oh, wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. Try to help
Yeah,
people
you
out
make a
there.
big difference in people's lives, Pearl. I mean, and any one of us across America, we're 4 or 5 paychecks away from being homeless. All you have to do is get sick, get into an accident or whatever, and then your credit's ruined.
Yeah.
So what you are doing is really helping people to get their lives together so that they can keep their families strong, keep their homes, and get their credit back again.
Yeah, it's so important. It is so important. Even if you're rich and famous, you still need to have the credit portion of it. And that's why I was honored when I read that there's two people, Mike Nice and I wrote Pearl Polto, and I said, "Oh my God, she never even said that to me." But it was there. It's what I read with it. We're gonna watch you in more movies out there, and we're gonna watch you in everything out there. Now that the people knows who you are and what you do, and I really hope you think about it, even when you talk to Mike, to say, did you ever think about bringing the dancing show back up again? Because, I mean,
Okay.
I think about it, and I tell him I would join in with all of you. I would join in with it because I think it was so great that you're making a difference in the world, with it.
Hmm.
But I'm going to be talking about credit at the end. I want to thank you, Bunny. I want to thank you for being on the show. And I want to
Thank
thank you for
you,
letting the
Pearl.
people
Thank
know
you.
who you really are. Anything you want to say to the people out there?
Um, I guess still it's expect that miracle and go see Pearl. If you're in trouble, don't be embarrassed. She's there to help you. She's there to get your life strong. And like I said, it could happen to any one of us that our credit gets messed up. She's there for you. So like a guardian angel, you go and see her.
Thank you. Thank you, Bunny. Thank you. I will be talking to
Okay.
you soon and seeing you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.
Okay. I said I was going to end this with doing credit, and I mean it with credit because Bunny has done. She's always advertising everything I do. She's advertising with the credit portion, and she's always building me up so big as if I do it. I mean, we know what we do good, but at the same time, we never like brag about it. We never brag about it because our mission is helping people. And I always say, and there's privacy acts out there, and I always say, it's not just the poor, it's the rich and famous as well that has credit problems. And it goes all over the place. And you have to understand where they're coming from. And some of the people that come to me, they'll say, well, I'm not going to say who I am because you'll know who I am if I mention my name. And then when they mention their name, I keep quiet. I keep quiet because I know something had to happen. Something had to happen. And they're trying to get their life back in order. But in my business, I have learned, and as Bunny said, she just goes on and on. Well, so do I. So do I. I became a paralegal too. And why I became a paralegal, not to study law, to study law, but I became a paralegal because there's many attorneys out there that don't care. They don't care. They just want to charge the people and then get their, money out there. But if somebody has a problem with a legal problem, I can actually tell them what to do, with their problems with it. And that's pretty good too, though, because if they have a problem and the attorney's going to charge them, all they have to do is call me up to say, I got this problem, here's what it is, and I will listen. If I can help, I will help. It's not just with the credit. It's not just with the credit portion. And just like Bunny, like when she started at Bandstand, as I always tell people, I started as an insurance agent. I started as a waitress. Who was on a couple weeks ago was Marina Katz. Bunny, if you're still out there, do you remember Marina Katz? Do you know her?
No, I don't know her.
Okay, Marina Katz came from another country. She came from Russia. And she came over here and she became a waitress. And after the waitress, she said, I'm either going to become a doctor or an attorney. And she became an attorney. But while she was an attorney, she wanted to go all the way up and learn everything there was. Not only she learned everything there was, she's got 7 or 8 attorneys under her nail. Many attorneys don't like her, and I fight them. I fight them because they should like her, because she's for the people. She will get on the phone personally for the people, just as you. You could be really big out there, and you are as a star, but you'll still get on that phone with the little guy to say, "Oh my God, I know you, Bunny. I know you, and this is what you're doing." I remember when I said to you, "Please get all the autographs for me. Get everybody's autograph for me." And but what you did, you got their pictures with you, and I love it. You'll say, Pearl, this is a picture with Ed Burns, this is a picture with, and you would sit, and I love it. I would make copies of it all over my wall. But you see, people wants to feel important. And even when they're important and they go downhill, and they can go downhill for anything, because they lost their job, or they're not making the money that they are, and they're going to have a credit problem. And I'm learning an awful, awful lot. I mean, every day I learn about the credit business. When I started with so many credit bureaus, and now we're down to 3, and we're going to be down to less than that, because even credit bureaus are making mistakes. People are making mistakes. Mortgage companies. I'm even hearing mortgage companies. I hear a company last night to be an example. One of my clients called up and said, I know you cleaned up all my credit with all the 3 bureaus, but what about if they named this ABC company? I said, it's not even a credit bureau. But that company let that person think they were a credit bureau and said, you got to get cleaned up from us. Well, let me tell you, you don't have to get cleaned up from them, because as long as you're cleaned up from all the bureaus, even 2 of them, you take it to that company and you say, you have no choice but to remove the negatives, because here's the true credit bureau, and they have to. They have to, or you could report them to the Federal Trade Commission, or you could have a lawsuit case against them. So this show is so important because Bunny started it all with me, and I said to myself, you know what? I praise her and she praises me what I do. But you know what? Sometimes the people has to see. They have to see they can go on and on and on until the day they die. And when they die, they'll be rich and famous, and even not rich and famous. But that's the crazy part when it comes to people. When it comes to people, get to know your rights, get to know who you are, what your position is. And if you feel it's you, then I'm going to say, stick to what you're doing. Don't give up. Because eventually, even if you get depressed and even if you get down, you're going to make it. You're definitely going to make it. And we're pure facts of a couple people. And there's many people besides not just me or Bunny Gibson, but there's a lot of people out there that didn't stop to do what they were doing because they said, I'm not going to stop to do what I'm doing. And they didn't just sit back and be contented or what they were doing in their households or whatever, because then you get depressed, then you get down. If you have a profession and you want to make it big, don't stop. Don't stop with it. And everything, the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit with it. If you have, no, I'm going to tell you my number. Everybody's out there from California to Philadelphia to Jersey. If you have a credit problem, not just a credit problem, a legal problem, call my toll free 1-800-876-CREDIT. This time, though, you say, I watched the show with Bunny Gibson for that special price of $500. Can I still get the $500? I'm going to say to you, yes, you can. And if you have another problem besides credit, if you have a legal problem, I will stay on the phone and answer you with it because of Bunny. She's been really a good person. She's really a good person to a lot of the people out there. And I see it. I've always seen it. And in 10 years, I've seen it, where I said, she don't remember, but I remember my father saying to me, I'd like to meet her, Pearl. And she got, when she was in Philadelphia, she got in the car. We rode up to Plymouth Meeting, and we knocked on the door. And I said, guess who, Dad? Guess who? And he was so shocked, so shocked. But he was so, he didn't know. He didn't know until he looked at her and he said, oh, my God. But you see, you meet so many people then, and that's the name of the game. If you're in a business, you don't even have to be in a business to take care of people and to help people. And there's a lot of people out there that don't want help. There's a lot of people out there that just, go on and on and on and on, and they just do what they want, and then they wonder why they complain. You don't have to complain. If you have something that you want to present, or you could call me up. You could even call Bunny up to say, I'd like to do this. What do I do to get it started? Well, first I would say to you, what do you think you should do to get it started? If you want it so bad, what do you do to get it started? And that's what you do. You do your best. You do your best to get it started. And if that's the case, then there's always people to help you. Always people to help you. But I will tell you, it's not just the poor, it's the rich and famous, the celebrities, the famous. It's everybody that has credit problems or will have credit problems because they want their mortgages, they want it, and something happens in their lifetime where they're hurting with it. So this is the show because Bunny Gibson was on it. You're going to get my service, and I would never say this to a million people out there, but I'm going to say it now. If you're listening out there and have a credit problem, don't wait. Don't wait till next month because I'm going to say sorry, you missed it. You missed it. You're going to get it for 500. I don't care if it's one or 500 of yous. I will do all of yous to get that credit back where you should get or whatever you need. And if you're getting, as Carrie Flitter would always say, oh, and if you're watching out there, and I'm sure you are, Nancy and Carrie, thank you for the fruit basket. I just got it yesterday. Nancy and Carrie Flitter, thank you for the fruit basket. I love it. I love it. All the fruit basket came to my house with it. But if you have a credit problem and you're getting harassed by bill collectors, if you're getting harassed by bill collectors, that's the guy to see. But call me. Call me first, you know? And when you call me first, and then I will give you his name and number, and we'll go for after that. But if you're getting harassed by bill collectors, if they take your car, they're not supposed to. All this is illegal, so it's a lot of stuff you don't know. I'm in that field, so this is where it's all about. I want to end this show by thanking Bunny Gibson again for even saying, for being a guest on the show, for even wanting to be a guest on the show, and being the great person that she is. I've talked to her. I've known her for a lot of years, but I didn't remember how I met her. Now she's telling me I must have been a rat thing back then, stopping her in a hallway to say, "Hey, are you Bunny Gibson?" But that would be me because I'd wanted her on my show back then. And back then it was I was trying to make it. I was trying to make it on all the shows, and I did. But it's determination. She's right. There's determination, and she's heading for a birthday soon. And happy birthday. And I'm sure, she don't even tell people because she's got that side of her. She's a Capricorn. We don't give up. We just keep on going, 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 going. And we make it happen. And if you don't want to make it happen, it's not for you. And that's what I'm saying, what it's all about. I want to thank everybody that's out there. Let me repeat again, my toll-free number, 1-800-876-CREDIT, C-R-E-D. If you are a producer, if you're a movie star and you want to get in touch with Bunny, call me. I will call her and to say, hey, we got somebody that wants to put you in another film, wants to put you in a bigger film. So this is where it all happens. It's just opening your mouth and making things happen. I want to thank everybody out there. This is Pearl Polto, as always. And I always say, this is one of the good shows that we had. We're going to have a lot of good shows. I'm trying to get a spiritual medium on as well to tell you what your future is going to be. There's a lot of things I'm trying to get on. I talked to you about a limousine driver. I'm trying to get him on. I'm trying to get a lot of people that people don't know their rights to. And all these people, I'm going to try to have come on as a guest. They could be rich and famous. They could be acknowledgeable. They could just give, if you were that person, call me to say, I got a lot of knowledge. I got a lot of information to give to people. Then, I'll talk to you and I'll see what's happening. And then, we'll book you. We'll book you. I think if it's good, we'll book you. I think we're getting to the end of that. We're getting to the very end. This is Pearl Polto, as always. And I always say, making the most of your credit. But this time, we had a great guest today. We had a great conversation from here to California, from Philadelphia to Hollywood. We made it. We did it. And now the rest is on you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.